Oh my god, what am I looking at?
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of But It's Free. My name's Chris Kenner and I've got Karma with me today.
Hey, welcome to our third attempt at recording this video.
Yeah, we don't know why, but every time we finish the recording of this, this crashes, and what you are watching is Dwarf Fortress, which hopefully some of you have heard of, but many of you probably won't have. And the clip you saw at the beginning is how the base game looks. What you're seeing now is with a modified texture pack so that it's a bit easier to see what's going on.
Yeah, this is marginally better.
Yeah.
But I mean, that first sort of base game thing, oh my god.
Yeah, being able to see that game is a bit like being able to see The Matrix.
Yeah.
From that film, when the green scrolling text suddenly actually starts to look like stuff.
Yeah,
it's
or that screensaver, from the 90s.
Yeah.
Does everybody remember that?
I think I know the one you mean.
Yeah, it was on all my school computers. I went to school in the 90s. I'm very old now.
Oh, you're not old. But Dwarf Fortress is... it's a little bit like The Sims in that you are...
Well, I think it's more SimCity-like.
Yeah.
It is basically a massive management game, like a resource management game.
Yeah.
Where you build your own little fortress.
Yeah.
It seems.
But you never directly control the dwarves. So these dwarves are digging out some storage space for me. But I haven't sort of selected the dwarf and then said, you dig this out. What I've done is I've just selected the area and said, this needs to be dug out. And if I'm lucky, the dwarves will be like, yeah, alright, I'll do that for you.
I'm just laughing because at the moment it kind of just looks like they're eating the dirt away.
Yeah, it does a bit. And for all I know, they might be like Mulch Diggums out of the Artemis Fowl books.
I was just thinking about that, actually.
Like their jaws just unhinge and they're sort of...
And the dirt just comes straight out the other end.
Yep.
Ugh. Those are great books, but ugh.
Yeah, it's a bit grim. I'm just setting up some stockpiles here because you need you can limit what things are stored in which patches, but there is control over damn near every aspect you would have ever thought would be relevant to what these dwarves do, and the game's AI has an awful lot of depth, and the dwarves can be quite clever and quite dumb at the same time. But you have to account for almost everything, including things like, at the moment the dwarves are unhappy because they don't have cups to drink out of.
Oh, don't let them get depressed. That's just awful.
Yeah, when they get depressed, they have feelings. If they get really, really sad, they can suffer from depression and stop working. And if they're not working, they're not producing food. So you can see I'm planting I'm setting up a farm there, which someone will then come along and build.
Tell them about the puppies.
Yeah, a friend of mine. And if you're watching, Alex, hey to you.
Hey.
But this friend of mine, he had a fortress that had a problem because there were so many puppies, because these dogs kept breeding, that the dwarves were tripping over them. They couldn't move around quickly enough to be able to do all of their work. And these puppies were... they were just sort of getting in the way. So and the dwarves were starving because they couldn't eat enough food. And eventually, this guy solved this problem because he butchered all of the puppies, which was really dark. But it got worse because the dwarves had grown attached to the puppies. So when these puppies were slaughtered for food, all these dwarves that had adopted these puppies became really depressed because everyone had eaten their friends. And there were so many of them that the fortress didn't function and they all starved to death.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't eat people's pets.
Yep.
You're actually causing a mass suicide.
Yep.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's dark, but it's the sort of thing that happens in this game, and it's just the way it goes.
So, what are there some positive stories we can talk about?
Yeah, this game isn't all doom and gloom. You do have allies. It's not just you against the world. Traders from other civilizations around the world will actually come and trade with you if you set up a little trade depot, and you can sell them the things that you make. So I usually have one dwarf who's just an expert crafts dwarf who makes toys and mugs and all sorts of stuff out of stone. And I sell those. And these merchants arrive with like a caravan full of their wares, but also some ridiculously heavily armed escorts. So if you ever get sort of sieged early on in the game, like if like a group of goblins come and you block your fortress off and you're waiting for them to go away, you seldom have to wait long, because the merchants will just show up and murder them and be like, hey, do you want to buy our wares? And they're like covered in blood. Like, you can actually go on the merchant's profile and see quite how blood covered he is.
Oh, I love that it's, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yay.
This game's thought of everything.
Yay, yeah.
But you can see I'm organising a space to put my animals now to have them eat some of the grass. But and setting out rooms there. But you've got to sort out bedrooms. You've got to sort out a meeting hall for them to hold parties in, and they do hold parties. Like there'll be an announcement that someone's holding a party, and pretty much all of the dwarves who aren't working will go there and drink and be merry. And they do go happily on about their lives.
Aww.
Yeah. But you can see this is like a list that you can pull up of all of the creatures in the world, and it's useful for finding out what your citizens are doing. But there's some fish there, and there's a pike and a long-nosed gar. And I always check the fish quite early on, because if you have carp, you tend to have like 100 of them. And for some reason, when a dwarf gets to the edge of the water and starts fishing, if there's carp, the carp will attack him. And there's so many of them that they usually will beat him down. So you've always got to be a little bit careful. I think that might have been patched out now.
I would rather hope so, because I'm pretty sure carp are fairly harmless creatures.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that even a dwarf can win in a fist fight against carp.
If you want to get into the comments there and tell us if carp are actually deadly or not, by all means, please do. I really want to know.
Yeah, like educate us here.
Because I just don't want to look it up. I've got enough problems with my browser history. Thank you very much.
Do carp have teeth? What? But I'm just laying out bedrooms here. You can actually assign bedrooms to individual dwarves. I think if you leave them unassigned, someone will automatically pick them up. But in this case, like my expedition leader, I wanted him to have the first bedroom. If for no other reason, then it'll make him slightly easier to find if I do need him later on. But you can do all sorts of things in this, like you can set up a hospital in case the dwarves do get injured. You can train a military. And when you first set a military up, by default, they'll only use like hand-to-hand combat and they won't wear any armour. But they will automatically go and live in the barracks and they'll train. So there's all these dwarves that are training in hand-to-hand combat. And for some reason, this ends up with a lot of them losing their clothes. So you end up with a barracks that's just got all of these half-naked dwarves in it and all of their clothes strewn about the place.
And I'm just imagining little... for some reason, in my head, dwarves and garden gnomes get mixed up. And I'm just imagining all these adorable little garden gnomes in pointy hats, sort of in a Fight Club site type scenario with no shirts on, beating the ever-loving you-know-what out of each other.
Oh my god, there'd be like Pam. There'd be like one that's like Pam from Archer.
Oh my god, yes, that would be so amazing.
She would fit perfectly into Dwarf Fortress.
I'm so disappointed with the last season of Archer.
I know.
But enough of that.
Yeah, but this, you can see I've set up a meeting hall here, and the game actually registers whether or not the meeting hall is symmetrical, and that affects how much the dwarves like it.
Do they like symmetry?
They do. It's weird. And they appreciate the artistry of your decoration.
It's actually not that weird. Technically, men get along better with symmetry than women for some reason. Their brains are made up for that.
Yeah, look, you can see here those sapling textures there. Those are blatantly stolen from Minecraft.
Yeah, I think I was saying earlier as well that one of those textures, it looks like the leaf texture. That sort of one with the little flowers on there. That looks like the leaves texture from the trees in Minecraft. So, yeah, I mean, if it works, it's not like this is done for profit or anything.
Yeah. But if you do want to pick up this game, I will leave a link below in the description to download the base game, which will be like the version that you saw like right at the beginning of the video. But if you want to play it like this, where it's a bit visually easier, I will leave a link to the mod pack, and you only need to download that. It comes with the base game as part of it, and it's very easy to set up. And if you want to play, there is a very extensive Dwarf Fortress wiki that has a complete starting guide that will teach you everything you need to know. The game itself doesn't hold your hand because it's interesting to find stuff out, but the community are very welcoming.
And you can also ask us questions in the comments.
Yeah, we'll
very happy to continually offer support.
And I do love this game. I've sunk so many hours into it. You see my guys digging out the meeting hall.
The thing is, I've never played it, but now after seeing it, after having to watch this video 3 times over and do this voiceover 3 times in a row, I really don't ever want to play it.
But yeah, you can see how complex this is, because like this is the description for a cat. But if I go over to a dwarf, I can bring up the description of the dwarf, including like their thoughts and preferences. And as you can see, there's quite a lot. Each dwarf has like its own personality, their own likes and dislikes, things that have happened to them, and this is all processed steadily as the game goes on. And because of the complexity of the AI, if you have like huge numbers of dwarves, it actually does noticeably slow the game down, like even on a powerful computer, because it's not tied to a specific timing. It'll just run as fast as it can within some sort of upper limit. But you can see there's so much detail and so much interest.
She is 57 years old.
Yeah, like each dwarf has an age. It tells you what year they were born.
And she's upset at the lack of chairs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be upset at the lack of chairs too if I were.
like chairs.
Yeah, chairs are good. We don't have many great chairs. We need to get some new office chairs at some point.
Oh god, my chair squeaks whenever I laugh.
It's so funny.
It's not funny.
It's a little bit funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny that I squeak when I laugh.
Give this video a like if you want me to put up a recording of what it sounds like when Karma laughs on her chair.
No!
What are you saying? You don't want people to like the video?
I want people to like the video, but I don't want you to record that.
I don't even know how I would.
You'd have to hold me down.
And then you wouldn't be laughing.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe if I sneakily record it on my phone.
No, I'll record you snoring.
Okay. Well, here you can see that the dwarves have almost finished this room now, and eventually I will fill it with tables and chairs, and I will even try and set up a system of sluice gates to pipe water down to the dwarves there. But you've got to be careful, because if I have just an open tube from the surface down to here, the water will come up through the well and then drown everyone. I learnt that the hard way when I first set all this up, because for some reason I thought, maybe the game will be set up so that the water can't actively just flow up through the well, and I was wrong. But, so yeah, it's easy to lose in this game, but you always learn something. See, I've got some gemstones. That's what I think. That red stuff there is actually iron ore, but there's like gems and crystals that you get. You see that, like, my dwarves just vanished because they were like, no, I'm thirsty now. But they'll do that. They'll just like stop in the middle of a job and be like, sorry, I'm tired. And if they haven't got bedrooms, they'll just fall asleep on their desk, like where they're working.
Like me.
Yeah. But I love this game so much just because of how silly it gets and how much fun you can have messing around with it.
We should probably do like a let's play at some point, maybe.
Maybe I will, but
in the far off future.
Yeah, we're looking at a let's play of Daggerfall at the moment, but I tried to set up the game and I got into it, and I sort of like the third enemy I encountered was this imp, and it just one-shotted me, and I just put it down. I was like, nope, I'll come back to this tomorrow.
Yeah, it is not like Skyrim.
No. You see, I've got my workshop set up here, so I can set them building some beds. Eventually, you can actually set up tasks rather than having to go to the individual workshops and be like, okay, build a bed, and then build another bed, and then build another bed. It gets easier. Like, you can set up like a management queue. But the thing I love is that it's not just that that's a list of jobs and the dwarves will go around and do them. It's that a particular dwarf that you set to be the manager will go and sit in an office and process the paperwork for all of the jobs that you want doing, and then they'll be sorted out. It's fantastic. So we're coming to the end of the video now, guys, so thank you very much for watching all the way through, and hopefully we will see you in the next video. But if you could just hit that subscribe button. We do release new videos every Thursday and every Sunday. Not always at the same time, we do aim for it, but...
Yeah, life does get in the way, and it has been getting in the way in droves lately.
Yeah, we had to have a new fridge today, and that's gone so bad. I ended up soaring up a worktop. That's how badly that's gone. But this video will still go out. But
We're persistent, if anything.
Yes, and if you can hit that like button, we'd be ever so grateful. But until the next video, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.